Okay, so how about this feeling prepared for emergencies? Like really prepared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Today, we're doing a deep dive into CPR training, looking at what actually makes it effective and highlighting a local place in Southeast Michigan with really great reviews.
Okay.
Traverse Mobile CPR.
Interesting. So when we talk about CPR training, it's easy to think of it like just another item to check off a list.
Right.
But it's really about giving yourself the skills and the confidence to actually potentially save a life.
Yeah.
It's the difference between freezing up in a panic and taking charge when it really counts.
Absolutely. And that takes more than just memorizing some steps, right?
Yeah.
So we've got info from Traverse Mobile CPR's website, and we've also got a bunch of online reviews to get a sense of what makes them different.
Okay. And, one of the things that immediately jumps out is that they have that American Heart Association certification.
Oh, okay.
This isn't some casual training we're talking about. It means they meet those nationally recognized standards, so you're getting good quality instruction.
Right, so you're not just learning any old technique.
Yeah.
You're learning the real deal from people who know their stuff.
Exactly.
And here's a cool thing. Traverse Mobile CPR is family-owned and operated.
Oh, wow.
So you've got William Ware. He's leading the show as a general manager and brand ambassador. Then there's Sheila Ware, who manages the admin side and client relations. And then they've got Angela Robinson, who's a registered nurse, and she's their chief medical consultant.
That's a really good point you bring up, because having a registered nurse as their medical consultant says a lot about how dedicated they are to doing things right. They're not just out there teaching CPR, they're really weaving in that real-world medical experience.
Totally. And it seems to really connect with the people who take their classes.
Right.
Before we get into the reviews, though, I'm curious from your perspective as an expert, what would you say makes for like a really effective CPR training program? Because obviously it's got to be more than just like, going through the motions.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it boils down to creating an environment where people feel okay with learning a skill that, let's be honest, can be kind of intimidating. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, thinking about doing CPR on someone in a real emergency, that can be really stressful.
For sure. Exactly. So a good program needs to find that sweet spot between emphasizing how serious the situation is and building up the learner's confidence. And you know what? That actually seems to be one of the things that Traverse Mobile CPR is known for, based on these reviews.
Yeah, it sounds like they found a good way to make it stick without, like you said, taking away from how important it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about making it fun either. It's also about making it feel real,
right.
Authentic.
And people talk about that a lot in the reviews. They mention how experienced the instructors are as healthcare professionals.
Yeah.
So these aren't just people who have read the manual. These are people who have probably used CPR in real emergencies.
Right.
Which just adds a whole other level of,
Yeah, totally. Believability and realism to the whole training.
It's one thing to learn, like, the steps of CPR, right? But it's a whole other thing to really understand, like, what it's like to actually use those skills under pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And having instructors who can talk about those real-life experiences that just add so much value for the people learning.
For sure. And speaking of real world, another thing that came up in the reviews was the focus on hands-on learning in a safe environment.
Oh, that's great.
They seem to get that people learn best by actually doing it.
Yeah.
One person even said that the atmosphere felt like family, which I think really speaks to how supportive and encouraging they are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so important, because when you're learning something like CPR,
right,
you need to feel like you can ask questions and make mistakes and, really get in there and practice without being afraid to look silly or anything.
Yeah, you got to be able to mess up and try again. It's like building up that muscle memory in a safe space so that if and when you ever need to use these skills for real, you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, it just kicks in.
You're not frozen. You're ready to act.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. It's about turning that initial fear into competence and confidence.
And that's really what it's all about, right? That confidence when things get real.
Yeah.
I mean, it can literally make the difference.
No question. And, a lot of people don't realize that when it's done right away, CPR can actually double or even triple someone's chances of surviving cardiac arrest.
Precisely. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
When you put it that way, it really shows you how much of an impact one person with the right training can have.
It really does. It's not even just about knowing the steps. It's about feeling like you can actually do it.
Yeah.
Because in an emergency, those first few minutes are everything.
Yeah, that's when it really matters. Like, if you think about it from the listener's perspective, imagine being able to help someone you love or a coworker or even a total stranger in a moment like that.
Yeah.
That's That's got to be a powerful feeling.
Yeah. It is. It all comes back to that idea of being prepared. We often think about, being ready for big things like natural disasters or whatever. But what about being prepared for those everyday emergencies that could happen anywhere, anytime?
So true. It's not enough to just have a first aid kit in the back of the closet. You have to be able to use it. And that's where good CPR training comes in. It really sounds like Trevor's mobile CPR has figured out a good system, making it engaging and easy to learn, and hey, maybe even a little fun.
Right. It's like a good reminder that learning these skills doesn't have to be scary. It can be empowering, even enjoyable.
Totally.
Makes you wonder what other skills are out there that we could be learning, Things that would help us deal with whatever life throws our way with more confidence and resilience.
That is a fantastic question to leave our listeners with. What skills would make you feel more prepared and confident? Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious.